Alright, guys. Hey. It's Josh here with Inkology. Tonight I am actually going to draw what I started to draw the other day and I failed miserably because I was so tired. But I'm going to continue with Gambit here from X-Men. If you don't know who Gambit is, he is an amazing card-throwing Cajun, raging Cajun with the gambling skills to throw cards and make them explode. We're just gonna have fun. I'm just gonna doodle, penciling this in, and yeah, I'm just going for it. So hey, if you like drawing and you love just simple chitter chatter while someone draws, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm Josh Lamb. I'm an illustrator and artist. You can see my work at Instagram on exo.chocolam or at Inktologist. And yeah, so let's just begin. Let's have fun. Let me get my pen out and start drawing. Oh man. Excuse my random sneezes. It's what I'm known for. It's my trademark. At least that's what I think it is. Come on, guys. Let's go outside. I don't need you following me. Alright, had to put my dog outside. But today I'm going to be using a Prismacolor brush pen. I really haven't got to use this, so I'm just going to have fun drawing and seeing what's up. But yeah, let's just draw some Gambit. Oh wait, I'm not even inking. What am I doing? That's my brain not working. I have an H pen. This is a Rembrandt Lyra from Germany. It's not a bad pencil. I usually like to use, I have a, what is this? Faber-Castell. These are really nice. But yeah, we're just going to do this because I have it out. And there we go. Oh shoot, just messing up my mic. Okay, I'm sorry about the mic ruffles. It's like in a really weird position. Just set up my studio, so I'm still working on it. Okay. I must be allergic to something on this desk. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, if you don't know who Gambit is a X-Men character who's also known as Remy LeBeau, and he first appeared in Uncanny X-Men in issue number 266, right? In 1990, I believe it is. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me. I think that's when he appeared, which I think I had that comic book until I had to throw it away. Let's see. And his his mutant abilities is he manipulates kinetic energy. So he kind of charges things. So if he grabbed onto something, he can charge it into like a bomb kind of thing, like just throw it and it just explodes. He uses playing cards because he's kind of a gambling kind of dude. But he's got this Cajun accent. It's really cool. So he has like this kind of persona about him. He's kind of like this thief, you know. He's kind of, his morals are a little bit wacky, but I like him. I've always thought him as one of the coolest X-Men characters. I'm not really sure how he got into the X-Men Academy, but he always fancied Rogue, because Rogue was hot, and he was like down for hot chicks and stuff. But he he was dope. And, his powers are pretty good, but then I think he's very vulnerable too. So I guess that's why he was never like a specialized character, part of the X-Men, I've actually never drawn him, so I'm actually very excited to kind of draw him up. I don't think I'm going to ink him up. I'm going to send this over to another YouTuber, to a collab, see if he wants to ink it. I like his inking style. But he's from New Orleans, New Orleans. He's a Cajun background. He's a cool character. He's awesome. So I'm just gonna draw my version of it. Need my ruler. Well, that didn't work out. It's funny because Gambit was kind of a part of a thieves guild, like of assassins guild. I mean, a thieves guild and the assassins guild, two rival factions in New Orleans, which was kind of like his kind of like secret agent kind of vibe thing he had going. But I never really picked them up as a kid or reading in the comics. I didn't really, I never really thought about all that stuff because I was too busy just worrying about him trying to, throw stuff and blow stuff up. Him and Morph were really cool. I like them both. Morph was really dope as a character. Hey Daniel, how's it going? How's it going? Sabretooth, huh? No, I'm just doing a ladies' man, Gambit. Sabretooth would be cool too. Sabretooth would be great. It's too much hair to draw though. How's life? How's the world treating you? I haven't you know what? We've never actually met up. We should meet up sometime. Have dinner. When you got free time, when the kids aren't too busy. But I always liked Gambit. Gambit was a really cool ladies' man. Him and Rogue. It's funny because Rogue actually ended up getting with Magneto, I think, at one point in one of the comic books. And I don't even know what happened to Gambit. He kind of just disappeared. I wonder if he died or something and I didn't read about it. Ah, man. Sniffles every time I draw. I swear, I've got to be allergic to something. I think maybe I'm allergic to these gloves, or maybe I'm allergic to this leather, because it's no joke. Every time I sit down, my nose and face starts to explode. Oh, life. Okay. I forget what his top actually looks like. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Oh, that's right. That's right. I totally forgot about this outfit. change it up a little bit. The wifey and I are going to go see Dune in a couple days. It's actually one movie I'm not even looking forward to seeing because the last one was extraordinarily boring, beautifully shot. But honestly, I think there's way too much rave and hype over the Dune. The book is really, really intensely boring. Don't know how anyone can actually get through that thing. But, the cool thing about seeing movies in theaters is no matter whether it's a really crappy movie or if it's really good. I mean, if it's really good, like Godzilla 1 minus 1 was amazing. It actually is better than most other Godzilla movies. But seeing it in theater, I think I would have been very sad if I didn't get to see Godzilla in theater. But then Dune, you have to see it in theater because it's kind of built for that theatrical look. So you get the benefit of it. It just, they need to, just because you have a lot of famous actors in it doesn't mean it's going to be a good movie. Madam Web, I watched that. That was the worst comic film ever. I don't even know what to say. I'm still kind of confused about it. I think I have nightmares about it. That's how bad it was. But anyways, I probably should stop ripping on her or on that film. But it was bad. It was bad. I do want to see. So Henry Cavill, the guy who played Superman, he's coming out with a Warhammer movie from what I hear, because he didn't agree with the Witcher, the way Witcher was turning out. And it kind of sucks because, some people, he's a super nerdy guy, and I don't think people give him a lot of credit for that. But I think the fan base of Henry, because he's such a muscular built dude, and they're like, oh, he can't be anybody who knows anything about comic books and all that. But he's super nerd. He does PC builds and he loves Warhammer and that's amazing. And to me, that's just, I don't even know what to say about that. For a guy like him to still be infatuated with the nerdverse, geekverse, or whatever, it gives me hope for humanity in a sense. And it's just really cool. I think I'm excited for Warhammer because he's probably going to do it right. He's probably going to do it legitimately, how the fans would want it. And I feel like there needs to be more fan-based movies instead of movies made by Disney and, because that Madam Web movie was purely a Disney idea, not a fan-based idea at all. And it showed really heavily. Really bad. I'm curious how Last Airbender is turning out, too, because I started watching a couple episodes of that, and that's it's Nickelodeon, so when you go to, I don't watch Nickelodeon very much, but I started to watch it, and I was like, oh, okay, this is very kiddie-ish, very childish. I don't know if I like it, but then I had to remember Nickelodeon is made for kids, so then, if I was a kid, would I like it? I was like, oh, okay, if I was a kid, yeah, I would be digging this, because kids don't really care so much about great dialogue or super amazing acting. They care about how the characters are portrayed and how they are presented on film. And I think At Last Airbender actually does a lot better this time around than the movie. In the movie, I blocked it out of my mind. But I'm waiting for them to do a Dragon Ball Z, but I think the pressure of Dragon Ball Z would be so much that if they screwed that up, they would have the world hate them, whoever makes it. But I think they should make Dragon Ball Z live action film, but I don't know, maybe get Sony, maybe not Sony. Sony's been screwing up a lot lately. Get A24 to do it, maybe not. That's a little too dark. I don't know. I want it to be made well, but it also has to be. Nickelodeon wouldn't do it so bad. I think they would have some, quality to it. I don't know. We'll see. I kind of liked how they created Street Fighter back in the day. The Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Loved it. Super underrated. They had all the characters. Mortal Kombat 1 was really good too. Mortal Kombat 2 was good. Then 3 got a little wacky. Annihilation, or was it Annihilation? I don't know. They got it weird. The recent one was really good though. I thought the newest one wasn't bad. Definitely was, you know. I got the game, Mortal Kombat 1 game, because everybody, like, they said it was really good. You know what? Video games aren't as fun when you're playing fighting games without other people, like your friends. If you're not playing with your friends, then it's not that fun. Okay, let's see. So, I wanted to do... something unique, a little bit different design. Trying to go for something a little bit playful here. Okay, let me sharpen my pencil real quick. Well, that didn't work. Okay. Some drawing tips for people who are watching. When you're doing shadows on things, what you want to always keep in mind is distance of the shadow. In comic books, you can use hard lines, like harsh lines here, and it won't really translate too badly. But in realism, you're going to want to, like, the further the object is away from the shadow that's hitting the object. For example, the my brain. The eraser here. If I lift up the shadow, you can see it's a very strong line, and then it blurs out on the edges here. And then the further I get further away, it becomes more blurry on the edges of the shadow, and the shadow becomes lighter color. And then, of course, it gets lighter and lighter, and then it's almost a big blurry ball. But it gets sharper, sharper, sharper until it's almost dark, and then it's a straight line closer. So the same way with here, his popped collar is going to be, it most likely it probably actually should be here, to tell you the truth. In fact, I can just fix that right now. Okay, that way you know that the collar is close to the actual jacket, right? But then when you get out with this one's supposed to be further out, kind of puffed out a little bit further. I can actually make the shadow a little bit more distant, And then you don't have to be too accurate because you're just going to look at it and kind of eyeball it and try to see how well it is, if it looks legitimate or not. And, practice makes perfect. But in essence, if you're going to do this as a realistic drawing, you would eventually, with this kind of distance, this would be blurred out, right? And you'd want to actually fade this out a little bit. But we're not doing that. So we're doing comic book style because the person I want to draw, like to ink this, they need to see the lines. I don't know why it's making that scratchy noise. Okay, so the groin area. The most awkward place to always draw for me. The crotch. Just fill this part in. What am I doing, Josh? Just filling his groin. Okay, let's finish his hair. Didn't even do his hair over here. Okay. Totally forgot to draw the cards. I'm supposed to have the cards. Yeah, hands are always the hardest. That's why his hands look goofy. Probably should add like some fingers. No, that made it worse. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hands are tough. As much as you can study hands, it doesn't even matter. They're always going to be difficult. Just hands down difficult. Hands are so greasy or something. Why is it so oily? What am I touching that's oily? It must be my face. My face must be oily or something. Okay, let's see. Okay, so yeah, clothing and wrinkles is always tough. I find the less wrinkles that you make, the easier it is to like to make it feel realistically accurate, you know. So I try not to do too many wrinkles these days. But you know, wrinkles they look great when you do them right. I feel like I never do them right. with his pencil. I gotta draw the cards. The playing cards being thrown in the air is the whole point of this image of him being Gambit. So a cool trick is like when you make mistakes and you have issues with your drawing, a technique that I think a lot of comic book artists use, as well as myself, is we'll hide the mistake, like this part right here, so kind of like sketchy looking. So I'll just erase it. And then what I'll do is I will draw a playing card being thrown. See? Bada boom, bada bang. Problem solved. And then you just throw some kinetic energy on there. Boom. Done. Of course, we got to make this the ace of spades. That makes sense. You can't just be throwing one card, huh? Yeah, that's pretty good. Whoops. Okay. Now for the legs. Kind of an awkward angle, but I think it works. Oh, there's a wobbly face. So I was last episode. The last episode I actually took off of my live stream. I'm changing it to the name of podcast because it's more of me talking about random nonsense than it is me drawing. It seems like, but people get to enjoy a live stream drawing. So I figured a podcast is better. But I was meaning to talk about Ehud in my comic book story, but as I'm learning the spiritual perspective of it and trying to create that comic book with the Ehud story, I've had to like withhold some of my like concepts and redirect them because Ehud, he's such a fascinating judge from the Book of Judges that there's a lot of backstory there, like really a lot. And if I'm going to be connected, my whole goal, of course, is not to just draw the comic book or the graphic novel or the Bible in full, but also to draw the spiritual mythology of it as well, like the angels and demons, like, Gabriel and Michael and Raphael and all these kind of Othniel and let's see what other angels are, Lucifer and other, the cherubim, the seraphim, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot to take in because how do they interact with the Book of Judges? How do they interact with all the books, And because their introduction is actually very early on, and we see them disappear as time goes on. The last real mention of the angels is whenever, uh, you know, I think it's even before Jesus, but you see Lucifer come into play. He's like one of the last spiritual creatures that come into play when, Jesus is tempted on the mountain or whatever. But in Genesis and all this kind of more mythological aspect of, the faith in the Bible, you see that the Garden of Eden is protected by cherubim. Well, I think it's cherubim, a flaming sword, which is like a living creature almost. So one of the crazy things about it is that, like, and Ezekiel is my favorite book, one of my favorite books, because it talks about the spinning wheels, and Ezekiel has these visions of the cherubim and these different tiers, and they're different spheres of levels of angels, and you have the angels that have four heads, like the lion, the eagle, the human, and the ox head on one, and their bodies are covered with wings to protect them, and the feet are of goat feet or ox feet, calves, and hooves, which is creepy. But there's something interesting about that is because Ezekiel says there's these spinning wheels with these eyes all over it, and they're intersecting wheels. But everyone seems to draw them. Let me find a piece of paper real quick. My my nose. Everyone seems to draw the cherubim wheels in Ezekiel like this, right? Where there's wheels with eyes on it, eyeballs here and eyeballs here, and that's how they see it. And but when I thought about it, I was like, well, if I was Ezekiel looking up in the sky, and this thing was massively large, and these wheels were spinning and they're intersecting each other, and then they had these things that look like eyeballs, but it doesn't really mean that they were eyes. What be another interpretation? So I was like, well, what if instead it looked like this, right? And then you had this, and then you had, well, let's do one more, right? Hey, TF. And then you had circles like this, right? That were the eyeballs. But what if they weren't eyeballs at all, right? And let me just do this just to make you feel a little bit more understanding of what I was going for. Now what does it look like? It looks like a darn UFO, right? And with the center piece right here and zapping people off the ground. Now, when I hear about Ezekiel, the first thing that I imagined was obviously, I thought this first, but then I was like, well, it doesn't really make sense that this is a wheel and they're stationary, because he says that they don't move, they move in all directions, right? And there's 4 of them, or however many there are. But I was like, well, it would make more sense if the wheels were connected in a circular and they were just discs going around like a UFO style, because that's how we describe it. And that would make more sense because we have more evidence for that kind of, machine. So was Ezekiel predicting UFOs? Was he predicting the future machinery? Or were they really eyeballs on spinning wheels that intersected like this? That's kind of the thing. I don't know if I want to draw them like this. I think I like the idea of them being more UFO-like because it seems to me more logical, because they act as kind of the chariots for God. And they could be like this, but if anything, then they could just be circles like this, like real wheels, right? And then it's a big monster truck, but anyways, my interpretation is going to be a little risque. All that to say is that I've been trying to write the Ehud story, and it's coming together. It's coming together good. God, my nose. Oh, TF, this one's for you, buddy, right here. We got Gambit here. Almost done with him too. He's looking good. But it's this idea that what's happening in the spiritual realm that's also portraying an accurate war-like idea of what's happening in the physical realm. Ehud is killing King Eglon, the fatted calf king of Moab, and what does that look like towards the spiritual realm? What is Satan doing? What are the demons doing? What are all these kind of things doing? Why this is happening? Or are they affected? Or is there something else? Is there nothing happening? Should we not be concerned with it? But the reason why I am trying to develop both at the same time is because I've had this story in my mind for a very long time, but the problem is a lot of it, and the more that evidence and information is coming out with archaeology and history and stuff like that, I'm forced to change it and try to get it to be as accurate as possible, which changes the story. And it's very, I'm not a what's it called, a historian or archaeologist. Theologians, I think anybody could be a theologian, honestly. You don't need to go to school for that nonsense, because theology is like Lord of the Rings. Like, anyway, if you just read a lot of Lord of the Rings books and you can create your own theology of it, who's to say you're wrong? It's theology. So in that sense, like, I want to be respectful towards the history and the archaeology of it all, but I'm left with facing the fact that angels and demons and stuff like that have to kind of work out, because I want the gods of old that the Moabites and the Amalekites and all of them were worshiping. I want them to be related to the demon world, the gods of like the spiritual world, right? And what their influence is on the people of that time, as well as how angels are an influence on Christianity and stuff like that. And angels, of course, I'm going to draw them as terrifying as possible because that's how they are. They're pretty terrifying creatures. I mean, we can just see cherubim and ophanim. I can't say the words right now. Cherubim and seraphims, they're pretty scary creatures. I mean, if I saw a four-headed creature with different faces on it and stuff like that, I'd be freaking out too. But that's why they say fear not, right? So I'm trying to figure out, because like I want there to be hints of the spiritual world in the Ehud story, but then I want the Ehud story to be a flip version. So when you get done reading the Ehud graphic novel or comic books or whatever, I want you to be able to read the spiritual story of, like, let's say Othniel, how he was fighting in that time. He was fighting a couple demons that were trying to, let's say, I don't know, get King Eglon to do certain things, and he was influencing him, and that's why Eglon became so fat, because he was so lustful and gluttonous and all these kind of things, and they were the demons of gluttony. But then Othniel was trying to, battle them, and he had his own war all behind the scenes of the physical world. So I'm trying to get it to work, but not go too heavy, because my brain might break into 1,000 pieces. But, it's something fun to think about. I'm going to start writing it, hopefully, once I get done cleaning up this apartment and fixing it up. And I'm going to start drawing Ehud as an assassin, hopefully maybe tomorrow or the next day. I think I have tomorrow off, so I might be able to have more time to do it. I don't have it full off, but I've got time to do it more than today, where I'm working every day. So, yeah, but that's what I've been doing. And today I just wanted to draw Gambit because I love Gambit. And here's my Gambit, right? He's throwing cards. He's throwing it hard. And I'm going to scan this in. TF, if you want it, you just let me know. If you don't, I'm going to ink this probably on the iPad, maybe, just so I can color him. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. Who knows? I don't really feel like inking this. I've got other things to do. So this is it. This is all my character. This is Gambit, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it wasn't much talking, this one, but hey, I've never drawn Gambit before, which is cool. You probably could use a lot more details to him and a lot more shading values, but that's up to the inker. I'll let the inker do the fun stuff. And now you have a nice, pretty outline. I've never drawn more X-Men than I have. I haven't drawn X-Men in so long that it actually gives me good feelings of, like, comic book stuff. Anywho, I think that's it, guys. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, TF, for joining me and watching. I'm done. I don't think there's anything else that I can really do on this guy. I mean, he needs a lot of detail, but like I said, that's inking. I'm going to go blow my nose and be done with today. And yeah, so hey guys, if you guys are watching, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helped me out, And please, if you guys are creative, go out there and create. There's nothing better to do than that. I'll talk to you guys soon, and yeah, appreciate you joining me, and thanks, Daniel. Thanks, TF. Good night and sweet dreams, and dream of a Cajun who loved to gamble. Wouldn't that be a fun dream? Yeah. Maybe you could be playing cards with Gambit. Maybe you'll win, or maybe you won't. Who knows? Anyways, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for joining. This is Inktology, and bye bye.